In today's video, I'll be breaking down UFC Fight Night 280, Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres in Baku, Azerbaijan, from the early prelims all the way down to the main event. Starting with Tahir versus Jefferson Nascimento. They just added this fight, I believe, on Wednesday. So it's going to be a pretty good. This is a pretty short notice fight. The odds are really leaning towards Jefferson Nascimento, which I can see. He only fought only like a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, in May 29th, where he got a round 4 KO win over his last opponent. But he's going against a pretty good fighter in Tahir. He's 4-1 in his last 5. His last 3 wins come by submission. He's only lost 1 fight in his last 5, and that was by decision. I think. Let's look at these stats if they have them. No stats, sadly, but the average fight time. Tahir seems to have the better finisher. His average fight time is 8 minutes and 40 seconds. But Nascimento might have a better gas tank because his average fight time is 12 minutes and 44 seconds, with 2 of his last 5 going to a decision. And then one of them went 17 minutes long before that fight was finished. We don't have the arm reach of Tahir, so we don't know if this is going to be a point fest or a knockout or a finish. But I think Tahir's going to get it done. They have him at an underdog in the betting lines, but it's dead even. Because again, this is a short notice matchup for both guys. Honestly, I'd probably bet a little bit of money on Nascimento. He's been more active, which in most cases that does help a little bit. But I think this one's going to go to decision. And if it goes to a decision, I think they're going to give it to one of their own. I don't think he's from Azerbaijan, but he's like in that region. So I think they would give it to him if it does go to a decision. So I think Tahir by decision. Competitive 29-28 split decision for Tahir. Or who knows, maybe he'll submit Jefferson. I could see him submitting Jefferson Nascimento in like round 2, round 3. But yeah, not much to go off on this fight, if I'm being honest. I think it's going to be a toss-up like the betting lines have. I think it's going to be a pretty close one to start off the card. Moving on to Jean Matsumoto versus Bekzat Al-Amakan. Hold on. Bekzat guy. His last loss was against Alexandre Topuria, which is not a bad loss to have on your record. And then before that, he knocked out Brad Katona. Thank God, Brad Katona was fucking number 1 worst fighter in the UFC. And then before that, his only other loss in his last 5 was against Umar Nurmagomedov. So that's not too bad losses to have on your record at all. Those are probably like the best losses you can have on your record right now, besides maybe like Marab or like Peter Yan. Let's look at G Matsumoto here. Last loss was against Farid Basharat. I think that was a pretty competitive fight, I believe. I saw, split decision, 29-28 split decision. I think it came down to round 3, if I believe in that fight, and it was a very competitive round 3. But before he lost, he beat Miles Johns. And then before that, he lost to Rob Font, again by, I believe, another competitive decision. Another split decision loss for Jean Matsumoto. So he's been kind of getting fucked with these split decisions, if I'm being honest. But he's also beaten Brad Katona, but that was by decision. They're pretty like similar in age. What's his name again? Bekzat and Jean. Jean is 26. Bezkat is 28. Bezkat has 1 inch of reach on him. Matsumoto's got half an inch of arm reach on him. They both don't have the best UFC record, but I don't know if you can really hold that against Bekzat because he's been going against pretty good competition that he's been losing to. So that's not embarrassing at all. Uh, I could see Matsumoto losing here by KO, but I think I'm gonna pick him by decision. Uh, I think it's gonna be a unanimous. I think he might get on the right side of a 28. I mean 29-28 split decision this time. But let's look at the stats. Bekzat about one significant strike per minute in his last five. Matsumoto around 4.8. Uh, Bekzat absorbs around like 3.75 significant strikes per minute. Gene Matsumoto, it seems like he takes more than he gives, absorbs about 5 significant strikes per minute. And Bekzat in his last five has knocked his opponent down twice, and Gene Matsumoto none. The grappling is going to be the most important in this fight, I think. Uh, Bekzat's been only has 30 seconds of control time in his last five. Gene Matsumoto has basically 14 minutes of control time, 15 takedowns landed. Bekzat has only stuffed 5 takedowns in his last five, and Matsumoto's landed 15 in his last five. So it's going to be a grappling heavy match. I think Bekzat might gas out. It's either if Gene Matsumoto is going to gas out from shooting takedowns, or if Bekzat is going to, or Bekzat. Is it Bekzat? Bekzat, sorry. Gasses out from ground and pound on bottom, and then Gene goes to like a 29-28, maybe a 30-27 decision win. Maybe he gets a submission over Bekzat, but yeah. I think Gene Matsumoto by decision here. But he's just got to be careful over the about the knockout power. This guy could just chin Gene Matsumoto. Besides Bekzat's 2 losses, his last 5 were by decision, but before that he had 3 wins by TKO. One of them in the first round, one in the third round, and another in the second round. Bekzat has 15 wins by KO. Matsumoto only has 3. He's never been TKO'd or finished, which is good. I think when it comes to finishing potential, I gotta give it to Bekzat. I think Gene Matsumoto, which is mixing the grappling well, it just coast to an easy, maybe even a split decision win. But who knows? I think Gene Matsumoto will get it done. But Bekzat at plus 130, that's like actually kind of like a tempting underdog because I don't know if Gene Matsumoto's chin is really that good. I mean, he beat Rob Font, but that's Rob Font. It's not the most impressive win to have. So, yeah, but still, give me Gene Matsumoto by decision. Moving on. Donchenko versus Theodore Berggren. His last fight, Donchenko absolutely smashed Alex Morono for 3 rounds. I thought he was going to get the finish on him. A little concerning that he wasn't able to get a finish on Alex Morono. But I don't think that's too much to go off of. A lot of people have Danny by KO. I think this one's going to go to a decision. Because, like, if you can't get fucking Alex Morono out of there in quick succession, I think you might be a little cooked against someone with a little bit of a better chin. Because I don't see this. Yeah, this guy's never been knocked out before. So either Donchenko's going to need to go out there and spark him, or it's going to go to a decision. I think it's going to go to a decision. I don't have Theodore's arm reach listed here, which again is pretty annoying. But they're about the same height. Donchenko's just 1 inch shorter, so I'm guessing there's not a huge amount of reach difference. Yeah, I think it's going to be a unanimous decision win for Donchenko. But let's look at the stats here. His opponent doesn't even have stats listed from what I'm seeing. Donchenko around 4.75 significant strikes per minute, only absorbs around like 1.87 strikes per minute. Has some good striking accuracy. Has landed 2 knockdowns in his last 5. he can mix up the grappling. He has 3 minutes of control time in his last 5. 1 takedown landed, and he has some pretty good takedown defense. He's defended 3 in his last 5. And yeah, I think he's gonna take this one to a decision here, if I'm being honest. I just don't know if he's his average fight time is 11 minutes and 20 seconds. The other guy's average fight time is 10 minutes and 17. This just spells a dominant 30-27, maybe 30-26 for Donchenko, where maybe people are going to be like, oh, they should have stopped it. Theodore was out on the ground, but I don't think it's going to be an insane finish. It could be, but I just don't see it. Moving on. Ofli versus Javier Reyes. Give me Javier Reyes. Round 3 KO. But let's get into that. Ofli, I believe he was losing his fight. Oh no, he beat Yiza. I was thinking of someone else. But his last fight was in January 2026. He won by decision. Was it a split decision? I think it was a split decision. No, it was majority decision. Yeah, majority decision. Over Yiza. And then he beat Ricardo Ramos after that. And then he lost to Muhammad Naimov and Mayron Santos, which aren't bad losses to have. Those are kind of like middle guys, maybe like not even good gatekeepers, but like kind of someone you can give to a prospect who will like kind of just like go through and he'll be like, oh yeah, get me in there one more time, but then he'll get a comeback win, and then people will be like, oh my god, that guy's actually kind of good. Maybe give him a top 15. I think he just gets smoked by the top 15. So, but yeah, let's go on to Javier Reyes. 4-1 in his last 5. Last win was a TK over Douglas Silva de Andrade. Before that, it was against Justice Torres. And then before that, he got some submission win over Lance Lawrence. And then before that, he got beaten a decision loss. And then before that, he had a TKO win. They have the big thing in this fight is the 7 inches of reach that Javier Reyes has on Ofli. And that's just going to be a disaster for Ofli to get around. Having him at a plus 170 is a little bit generous for Ofli. I'd have him at like plus 225. I think this is going to be a KO for Javier Reyes. I don't know if it's gonna make. I don't know if Ofli's gonna last until round 3. I think he will because this is lightweight. They don't really have the weakest chins in the UFC, but you'll see some chins go down. But let's look at these stats here. Oh my god, yeah, this actually might be a round 1 KO. Ofli 2.3 significant strikes per minute in his last 5. Javier Reyes 13.45 significant strikes per minute in his last 5. Hopefully, he absorbs around 3.3 significant strikes per minute. Reyes, which is a little bit more with 3.8. Reyes has a 10% striking accuracy, 56-46. And Reyes has knocked his opponents down twice in his last 5. Ofli hasn't knocked his opponents down in his last 5 once. But Ofli's ground game, this is where this could be very important for him. He has almost 10 minutes of control time in his last 5. Reyes only has 2. But Ofli's only shot 1 takedown. Or no, landed 1 takedown, sorry. And so has Reyes. He's shot 1 takedown in his last 5, but Reyes has defended 1 takedown in his last 5. Let's see if he's been controlled up against the cage at all in his last couple of fights. Let's see here. Let's look at his stats. Let us see. He hasn't really been getting pushed up against the cage. If anything, he was the one who was holding Douglas Silva de Andrade up against the cage. But yeah, so I think this just spells a brutal knockout for Javier Reyes to get the first, maybe second finish on the card. Depends on how the fights before that look. But yeah, I think Javier Reyes has this one in the bag by round 3 KO. Moving on to the next one. We got uh, Ruizai Boev versus Andrei Polyev. I think uh, Ruziboyev is gonna knock out Andre. I mean, sorry, submit him in round two. So let's get into that. Ruziboyev, 4-1 in his last five, coming off a win against Dustin Stolfis. Who does that to Stolfis? But Poiliev, hold on, this might be a sneaky underdog. He took Ateba Gutierrez to a decision, in which I think he took a round off of Gutierrez, if I am not mistaken. Yeah, most people had him taking a round off of Gutierrez. So, I mean, this guy's not bad. I think that's his debut, wasn't it? Or is like one of his early fights in the UFC. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, that was like his third fight in the UFC was against Ateba Gutierrez. You know what? I think. I don't know. Well, if you're not getting knocked out by Ateba Gutierrez, I don't know if you're gonna get knocked out by Urzi Boyev, so I might change my pick, but let me break this down again. Boyev has 2.5 inches of reach on Urzi Boyev. They're around the same height. I think it comes down to the submissions because Urzi Boyev has 20 submission wins and 15 KOs and has only been finished twice himself. But he's lost 7 decisions unanimously, but Poiliev is right there with him. He's lost 3 unanimous decisions. I don't know. Let me look at the stats here. Poiliev, around 2.75 significant strikes per minute. Urzi Boyev, around 2.6. Urzi Boyev absorbs around 2.9 per minute. Poiliev, about 3.2 strikes per absorbed per minute. Basically the same accuracy on the feet, 48 to 47 in favor of Andre. But Urzi Boyev has knocked his opponents down 3 times in his last 5, and Poiliev only knocked his opponent down once in his last 5. Urzi Boyev has 4 minutes and like 40 seconds of control time in his last 5. Poiliev has about a minute and 50. Urzi Boyev has about 2 takedowns landed in his last 5. Andre has 0, but he's defended 5 in his last 5. And Urzi Boyev has defended 3 in his last 5. Neither of these guys have gone for submissions in their last 5. Maybe it's not by decision. I mean, not by submission. I think I might go. Give me Andre Poiliev by decision. I'm changing my pick. Changing my pick here. Can't believe I'm saying that. I'm either going to look like a fucking idiot or I'm going to look like a genius. Because, like, this guy hasn't gone against, like, the best opponents. Bruno Figueira in 2023. Cedricus Dumbass in 2024. He beat Cedric Dumas, but that's not impressive. And Bruno Figueira, but again, not that impressive. Also, Joaquin Buckley up a weight class by decision. That's embarrassing. TKO's Eric McConico, not bad. And then he beats Dustin Stolfis by decision. I think I might be rating Poiliev's fight against Ateba way too highly, but I think Poiliev looked pretty good against someone like an Ateba Gutierrez. Yeah, I think I'm changing my pick. Give me Andre Poiliev by decision. Moving up. Oh my god, these fucking guys, dude. They have the most insane names. Okay. Abdul Rahman Yakiev versus Julius Walker. I don't think I have to explain myself on this one. Give me Abdul Rahman by first round submission over Julius Walker. Julius Walker is just dog shit. He lost to Alonzo Menifield, which hasn't aged badly. Then he beat Rafael Cacarera. Cacarera. And then got chinned by Dustin Jacoby in 2026. He's coming off a TKO loss. Not that, 4 months ago? Yeah, give me not Brandon Ribera. I'm looking at who Abdul Rahman's beat in his last five. Uh, yeah, give me Abdul Rahman, but I'll still expand my reasoning. He submitted Bretson Ribera about, what would that be, a month ago? I think that was a month ago, 2 months ago, in April. Uh, in the first round. Before that, submitted Rafael Cacarera, who Julius Walker couldn't finish, and then he TKO'd Alec Lorenz, and then Jackie Gian. I'm not gonna act like I know those people. I don't really know those names. They're probably not in the UFC, but Julius Walker is absolute dog shit. A minus 600 for Abdul Rahman does make sense. They have about the same arm reach. Julius is only 2 inches taller. Uh, yeah. I don't know if Yakayev is going to be able to knock out Julius Walker because this is light heavyweight, and Julius doesn't have the worst chin, but I do think he'll be able to take down Julius. Maybe not. I mean, Julius has 20 minutes of control time in his last five, and has landed 10 takedowns. Would I be insane? But would I be insane to say this is a Julius Walker upset? I would, right? There's no way he could. Hold on. Hold on. There's no way. Yeah, no way. But I could see him blobbing his way up against the cage for a decision win. I don't know. I have no idea. Fuck, this is a tough one. This should not be this tough. I think the last fight card just completely shattered my mind when it comes to underdogs. Because like I could see Julius Watt winning this one. Now that I'm actually looking at the stats here, fuck. Mm. I think no. I think Abdul Rahman's gonna finish him. I think KO though. I think he'll KO him in round one because Julius Walker got KO'd like a couple months ago. There's no way someone who got KO'd 4 months ago is going to be able to come back and survive against Abdul Rahman for 30 rounds and win somehow. Give me Abdul Rahman, round one KO. Moving on up the card, we got Farman Hassanov versus Eric Nolan. Give me. I don't know. I mean, again, this is just another. I mean, all these fights could go either way, in my opinion. But like Hassanov has been going against bums. What the fuck? Is that okay? On this app, it's saying his combined opponent's record in his last five is 13-1. This guy's not been going against Has he fought in the UFC before? No, this is his UFC debut, and he's going against a tough Eric Nolan, who had a pretty good fight against Sursakayev up until he got submitted in round two. But before that, he TKO'd his last three opponents before that. You know, if you're not... Hold on. I gotta check this. There's no way his opponents have this bad of records. Oh my god, yeah. This fight, yeah. His first fight, his opponent was 0-0. His next fight, 1-0. Or 1-0. His next opponent, 3-0 and 1 tie. And then after that, it was 3-1, and then finally 6-1. Give me Eric Nolan, dude. Eric Nolan by a dominant 30-27 win in Baku, upsetting the crowd by taking out their boy. Honestly, he could TKO him. We don't know how good Hassanov's shin is. Does he eat a lot of shots? They don't have stats for him. If this is going to be a scrap, I'm going to say give me Eric Nolan. About the same arm reach. Hassanov only has half an inch on him. And Eric Nolan is 2 inches taller. Fuck, do I go with Eric Nolan by knockout? What weight class is this? Welterweight? Give me fucking Eric Nolan by knockout. Round 2 knockout. I think Hassanov's going to break against the cage. Give me That's an easy pick. Yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with that pick. Okay, moving on to the main card. We got Abus Magomedov versus Mikhail Oleksiejczuk. Give me Mikhail Oleksiejczuk via decision, but let's go over this. Magomedov lost to Joe Pyfer by submission. If you're losing to Joe Pyfer by submission, you're not good enough to be in the top 15. Before that, he took Mikhail Pierre to a decision. Was that a split? Don't tell me that was okay. It was a unanimous decision. But like, it's Mikhail Pierre. He gasses after round 1. If you're taking Mikhail Pierre to a decision, you have no finishing potential, and I'm not scared of you to finish anyone. Besides Bruno Ferreira, it seems like, because he submitted Bruno Ferreira back in 2024. And then before that, he beat Warles Alves. Yeah, he just does not seem like he's got the best opponents. Oleksiejczuk is the favorite here, which I don't hate. Abus has a lot of control time in his last 5. He has 19 minutes of control time. He's landed 12 takedowns. He's defended 5 and gone for 2 submission attempts. But Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, he's defended 3 takedowns and he's landed 4 of his own. He has 4 minutes of control time, but his striking just seems to be like so good. He has 7.5 significant strikes landed per minute. He eats 5, which is not what I want to see. He has the striking accuracy over Abus by 9%, 57 to 48, and he's knocked down his opponents twice in his last 5. And his last 5 opponents are Marc-Andre Barriault, which was a competitive 29-28. And then he chinned Gerald Mearshart. That's what I'm talking about, baby. And then he beat Cedric's dumbass. Very nice. By KO. And he beat GM3 by KO, which is a little more sad. And then he lost to Shaira Magomedov by decision, which not the best loss. I mean, not the worst loss. And then he got submitted by Kevin Holland, which is a little inexplainable. But I think before the Cedric... No, I think it was after the Magomedov fight. I think he went to the Fighting Nerds. And then he beat Cedric's dumbass by KO. And then GM3 by KO. And was beating Marc-Andre Barriault's ass to a decision. So, yeah. And Marc-Andre, he's got... Not Marc-Andre. Mikhail... Oleksiejczuk, he's got some crazy knockout power. Give me fucking Mikhail by decision. Maybe even KO. Actually, no. Give me Mikhail by KO. Let's make it happen. Give me round 3 KO. It's going to be a 1-1 going into round 3, and Mikhail's just going to fucking knock his fucking lights out in like the later half of round 3. Moving up the card. Ikram Aliskerov versus Bruno Ferreira. I mean, I think people are putting too much stock into Ikram Aliskerov. They have Bruno Ferreira at a plus 250. I think that's a little crazy. Maybe it's not, though. So maybe I rate Ferreira high as well, but okay. Aliskerov takes Jun Yong Park to a decision. And then before that, he knocked out Andre Muniz in the first round. And then he got chinned by Robert Whitaker in the first 2 minutes. And then before that, he beat Warles Alves. And then before that, Phil Hawes. Both of those two by KO. So he's a pretty good finisher, all things considered. And Rodriguez, okay, I think I know why he's a big underdog. In March, he got knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez. And then before that, he took Marvin Vettori to a decision. I think I remember that fight. You know what? I'm changing my pick. God damn it. I'm changing my pick. Give me Ikram Aliskerov by KO. I don't think it's going to go to a decision. No, I think Bruno Ferreira is going to get shinned by Ikram here. In round 2. Because the only good person that Fiora has beat is Vittori, and that's about it from what I'm seeing in his last 5 at least. Oliskarov is just dominating him in the strikes. 7 significant strikes per minute to 3. Fiora absorbs about 3.8. Ikram about like 5.2. Ikram has a way better striking accuracy, 65% to 49, and he's knocked down 3 opponents in his last 5. And he just controls his opponents better. 6 minutes of control time compared to 2 minutes 40. He's landed 5 takedowns compared to Bruno's 4. Bruno has defended 8. That could be a game changer. And then Bruno has gone for 3 submissions. So who knows? Maybe he'll submit Icaro. Yeah. Let me see. Liskarov also has fucking 2 inches of height and 4 inches of reach. And Fiora's coming off a KO loss. I say Ikaram Liskarov by KO in round 2. And that's being nice to Ikaram. I mean to Bruno, sorry. Moving up the card to the co. Oh no, not the co-man. I'm way before the co-man. What am I talking about? Asu Almabayev versus Charles Johnson. Asu is coming off a submission win against Alex Perez. I think he was having like a pretty competitive fight against Alex Perez up until then, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look at the stats here. Yeah, pretty close on significant strikes. I mean, he's not looking bad. I mean, that wasn't the worst fight. I think. Sorry, I'm just not locked in. I'm not gonna lie. Asu, and then before that, he won a decision win over Jose Ochoa. He got TKO'd by Manel Kappa. That was because of eye pokes in the finishing sequence. So not really much to hate on there. Before that, he beat Mateus Nicolau by decision, and then Jose Johnson. And when we look at Charles Johnson, he's coming off a decision win against Bruno Silva, and he fought way earlier than Perez, fighting in March 2026, while Azu fought in November 2025. But Alex Perez did knock out Charles Johnson badly. But then again, Charles Johnson knocked out Boner Kavanaugh in round 2. But I think I'm going to stay with my... Let me look. Now I got to look at the stats, because every time I look at these, I'm like, fuck, maybe I'm wrong on my picks. But, okay. Azu Almabayev, 5 inches shorter and 5 inch is less in reach. Let me look at this odds here. Charles Johnson at a plus 220. I don't know if I agree with that. I think what Azu's going to have to do here is he's going to have to shoot it on the hips immediately on Charles Johnson and get a takedown and submit him. I don't think he should stand up with Charles Johnson. I think he could if he wanted to, but I don't know if he should. Charles Johnson lands about 4.5 significant strikes per minute. Azu just about 2 strikes per minute significantly. He eats about 2 significant strikes per minute. Charles Johnson eats more than he takes with it getting hit significantly, 5.2 times significantly per minute. And Asu has a better striking accuracy, 48% to Johnson's 45%. But Johnson's knocked down his opponents 2 times in his last 5, and Azu only once. But like I said, it comes down to the control time, and I think Azu's going to get it done. He has 21 minutes of control time. Charles Johnson only has about 5 minutes. Azu's landed 12 takedowns. Charles Johnson only 3. Charles Johnson has defended 13 takedowns though in his last 5, and Azu only 4. But Azu actively goes for submission at least once every fight, with 5 submission attempts in his last 5, and Charles Johnson with 0. I think Azu Amabayev will get this win by decision, dominant submission. 29-28. I'm not 29, 30-27, maybe a 29-28 scatter in there if Charles Johnson knocks him down. But yeah, give me Azu Amabayev by decision. Moving on. Mateus Camilo versus Nazim Sadikov. I have Nazim Sadikov by decision over Mateus Camilo. Even though Sadikov's coming off a TKO loss to Faraz Siam, that's not a bad loss to have by any means. I mean, that's a pretty good contender in this featherweight division. It's a lightweight division. Wait, no, I think that fight was at featherweight. Let me see. No, it was at lightweight. Okay. I thought Siam was at featherweight. That's not a bad loss to have on your record. And then he beat Nicholas Mata in a actual, amazing fight back and forth. TKO'd him in round 2. And then he beat Ishmael Banfim at the end of round 5. I think that was a doctor stoppage. And then before that, it was a decision draw. And then before that, he submitted Terrence McKinney. Camilo, on the other hand, he got a decision win over Borshchev. And then before that, he lost to some guy named Gabe Green. And then just going against absolute fucking randos, it seems. I have never heard of any of these guys. So, Sadikov's been going against better competition. About exact height and arm reach. Camilo's been finished more times than Sadikov. And both times were by submission, but Sadikov has been KO'd once and submitted once. Camilo seems to be like a decision guy. He's won 4 decisions and never has been on the losing end of one. Sorry, I cannot speak today for some reason. Camilo is at a plus 170 underdog, or is a plus 170 underdog. It's not bad. It's actually kind of weird. I'd probably put a little bit of money on Camilo, unless you get. But then again, he's been going against nobody, so yeah, I probably don't put money on Camilo. Let's look at these stats here. Sadikov absorbs 6 strikes per minute and gives about 4.6. Camilo gives about 2.2 significant strikes and eats about 3.25 significant strikes per minute. They have a pretty close accuracy. Sadikov 48, Camilo 43. Sadikov has knocked down his opponents twice in his last 5. Camilo none. Sadikov, more control time, 7 minutes to about 6. Camilo's landed more takedowns, 7 takedowns landed to 4, but Sadikov's defended 6 to Camilo's 0, and they both have 1 submission attempt in their last 5. I think Sadikov's going to win this one by decision. He hasn't gone to a decision often, but I just think that this is just going to be a dance partner kind of thing where his opponent's gone to a decision a lot of times. He could just go out there and smoke Camilo, but I just don't see that happening. I think it's going to be... Actually, no. Give me Sadikov by KO. Why not? Give me round 2 KO for Sadikov. Moving on to the co-main event. Shara Magomedov versus Mikel Pereira. It's Palestine versus Israel. Shara Magomedov coming off a win against Marc-Andre Barrial. Before that, he lost to Michael Venom Page. What the fuck is Michael Venom Page doing right now? I haven't heard of that guy in a long ass time. And then before that, he TKO'd Armin Petrosian, and then he won a decision against Mikhail Oleksiejczuk, and then TKO'd Antonio Tricoli. Antonio Tricoli would probably get fucking finished by a wet fart, if I'm being honest, so that's not impressive. Mikel Pereira, he beat Zachary Reese in a robbery decision. Nobody agreed with that decision at all. And that was in February 2021, where he took a lot of damage and again gassed out against Zachary Reese. I think Scherer might actually finish him here. I think I had Scherer by decision, which I think is still a good pick because Scherer has only finished two guys in his last 5. And they've both been bottom feeders, if I'm being honest. But yeah. I could see him. Hold on, let's break this down a little bit more. Mikel Pereira got KO'd by Kyle Dawkins in 2025. Everybody knows Kyle Dawkins is a quitter now. He lost to Abus Magomedov by decision. He got KO'd by Anthony Hernandez in round 5. But he got a submission win over Ihor Peteria. Who does that to Ihor, did? Unbelievable. Let's look at the stats here. Scherer lands about 5.5 significant strikes per minute. Absorbs around 3 3/4. 60% striking accuracy. Has knocked down his opponents twice in his last 5. 1 minute of control time. No takedowns landed, but he's defended 16. So, I mean, he could stop Mikel Pereira's takedown threat. Let's look at these betting odds, actually. I am curious to see the betting odds on these two guys. Mikel Pereira is a plus 310 underdog. I understand that. He's not good enough to be in the UFC. Who knows? Maybe he'll have an insane gas tank. Who knows? Well, let's look at Mikel's stats. Around 3 strikes landed per minute, significant strikes per minute, I mean. He absorbed around 5 3/4. His striking accuracy is awful, 46%. 2 minutes of control, 2 minutes and 20 seconds of control time. He's landed 2 takedowns in his last 5. He's defended 24 and gone for 2 submission attempts. I think this is going to be a stand-up fight, and if it's a stand-up fight, I think Scherer is just going to fucking piece him apart. He might actually TKO Mikel. I don't know. No, I don't think he's going to finish Mikel. Because Mikel doesn't have a bad chin, if I'm being honest. I hate Mikel Pereira. I love shitting on him, but he doesn't have a bad chin on him. Because getting KO'd by Kyle Dawkins has an actual, insane knockout ability, if we're being honest, against these lower-level guys. I think getting TKO'd by Aaron Hernandez is not bad at all. Aaron Hernandez is kind of a beast. So yeah, give me Scherer Magomedov by decision. Dominant. Actually, no, give me a boring 29-28 unanimous decision for Scherer. Moving on to the main event. Baku Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Boy, oh boy. This is going to be a good one. Manuel Torres is a little bit of a higher favorite here. At the start of the week, last Saturday he was at plus 100. He's gone down to minus 115. But let's look at this matchup here. Rafael Fiziev 1-4 in his last 5, but he's been going against insane competition. Mauricio Hufi, that's not a bad loss to have. Mauricio Hufi knocks out anybody, or a lot of people in that UFC lightweight top 10. I mean, and then before that, he beat young power puncher Ignacio Bahamondes. That's not a bad win. Not a bad win. Before that, lost to a decision loss against Justin Gaethje. Before that, you get knocked out by Mateus Gamrot, and then before that again, you lose to Justin Gaethje again. Yucky. I don't trust his chin. I really don't. I don't trust Fiziev's chin. If you're getting TKO'd by Mateus Gamrot, if you're getting KO'd by Gamer, I don't know if I'm going to pick you to win a fight. Especially if you're coming off a KO loss, where you hit the fucking chicken leg dance. Especially if you're going against a power puncher like Manuel Torres. But yeah, Manuel, 2 inches of height on Rafael and 2 inches of reach. Let's look at Manuel Torres' last 5. Knocked out Grant Dawson in round 1. Not the most impressive. Grant Dawson is a chinny fuck. He beat the minority killer Drew Dober in round 1 by KO. That one hurt to watch. If I'm being honest, that actually made me sad. But hold on now. This might be a little bit of a shakeup. He lost to Ignacio Bahamondes by KO in round 1. I don't know. This could be a bit of a firefight back and forth. But then before that, he submitted Chris Duncan and then TKO Nicholas Mata. Nicholas Mata has actually a pretty good chin on him. And to knock him out in round 1 of your fight is pretty impressive. Let's look at the stats here. Manuel Torres lands about 5 3/4 significant strikes per minute, absorbs around 4 1/4 significant strikes per minute, has an 8% accuracy advantage on Fiziev, and has knocked down his opponents 3 times in his last 5. Let's look at his grappling. He only has about 1 minute 20 seconds of control time. He's landed 2 takedowns, defended 4, and he has 1 submission attempt in his last 5. Baku Fiziev, he lands about 4.5 significant strikes per minute, absorbed around 4.8 per minute. He has a pretty good striking accuracy at 56%, and his control time not too bad, about 2 minutes and 25 seconds of control time. He's landed 6 in his last 5. He's defended 12 in his last 5, but he has not gone for a submission attempt. I think he's going to lose by KO to Manuel Torres. Round 3, maybe round 4, who cares? I don't think this one's going to go to a decision. And Manuel Torres, I think he's going to call out. I don't even know. I can't even find the UFC lightweight top 15, but I think if I'm Manuel Torres, I'm calling out. He could call out Dariush, honestly, because they were going to make that fight originally. And then Torres had to pull out, and they got Quill and Sal killed in there, and then Quillen murdered Beneil Dariush badly. So maybe he calls out Beneil, but I think he's going to look way up the rankings. I think he's going to call out like I could so see it. No, because Michael Chandler's out the top 15. Who would he call out? Manuel Torres versus coming off a loss at lightweight. Okay, I think I got it. I think he's going to call out the loser of Paddy Pimblett versus Benoit Saint-Denis if he beats Rafael Fiziev. But yeah, those are my picks for UFC 280. Rafael Fiziev versus Manuel Torres. Let's go over this one more time. I got Tahir by decision in the first fight. And then I got Gian Matsumoto by decision in the second fight. Then I got Donchenko by decision in the third fight. And then I got Javier Reyes by round 3 KO over Ofli. And then I got Andre Polaev by decision over Ruzi Boyev. And then I got Abdullah Rahman by first round KO on Julius Walker. And then I got Eric Nolan by round 2 KO. And then on the main card, I got Mikhail Olizechik by round 3 KO over Abus. And then I got Ikram Aliskarov by round 2 KO. And then I got Asu by decision. And then I got Nazim Sadikov by round 2 KO. And then I got, in the co-main, I got Shara Magomedov versus Mikel Piera. And in the main event, I got Manuel Torres via KO, maybe in round 3, over Rafael Fiziev. Hope you guys enjoyed those picks. Let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know what you guys picked that might have been different from mine. Hope you guys have a good week up ahead. I'll see you guys on Sunday for my stream companion. Or fight companion, sorry. So yeah. Have a good day. Make sure to like and subscribe.